The broad bean, also known as the fava bean, is one of the oldest cultivated food crops in human history. Long before rice, corn, or wheat dominated global agriculture, broad beans were already feeding early civilizations. Hardy, nutritious, and easy to grow, this legume played a foundational role in the transition from hunter-gatherer societies to organized farming communities. Scientifically classified as Bicha faba, the broad bean is distinct from many other legumes due to its large size, thick pods, and robust growth. Unlike beans native to the Americas, broad beans originated in the Old World. Archaeological findings suggest that they were cultivated in the eastern Mediterranean and Near East as early as 6000 BCE. Ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome all relied heavily on broad beans. In Egypt, they were a daily food for workers and laborers, valued for their ability to provide long-lasting energy. In ancient Greece, broad beans held both nutritional and symbolic importance. Philosophers such as Pythagoras famously avoided them, not because they lacked value, but because they were considered spiritually powerful and mysterious. For the Romans, broad beans were a staple. They were eaten fresh, dried, mashed, and ground into flour. Roman soldiers depended on them during long campaigns, as dried broad beans stored well and delivered dense nutrition. In many ways, broad beans were the fuel that allowed empires to expand. Nutritionally, broad beans are exceptionally rich. They provide high-quality plant protein, complex carbohydrates, and significant amounts of dietary fiber. They are also a strong source of folate, iron, magnesium, and manganese. These nutrients support energy metabolism, red blood cell production, and nervous system health. One of the most unique characteristics of broad beans is their protein-to-energy balance. Unlike many plant foods that are either carbohydrate-heavy or protein-focused, broad beans provide both in a single ingredient. This made them ideal for early societies with limited food diversity. Broad beans also contain bioactive compounds such as polyphenols and antioxidants. These compounds help protect cells from oxidative stress. In modern nutritional research, broad beans are studied for the potential role in supporting cardiovascular health and metabolic balance. Culinarily, broad beans are incredibly versatile. When young and fresh, they can be eaten raw or lightly cooked, offering a mild, grassy flavor. When mature, they require longer cooking but develop a rich, creamy texture. In Mediterranean cuisine, broad beans are paired with olive oil, herbs, and citrus. In Middle Eastern dishes, they are used in stews, purees, and traditional breakfasts such as fulmi dames. In North Africa, broad beans are often dried and slow-cooked with spices. In Europe, particularly in Italy and the UK, they are enjoyed as a seasonal spring vegetable. This seasonal nature gave broad beans cultural significance, often marking the transition from winter scarcity to spring abundance. Agriculturally, broad beans are extremely valuable. They are nitrogen-fixing legumes, meaning they naturally improve soil fertility. Farmers have used broad beans in crop rotation systems for centuries to restore depleted land. Their strong stems also make them resistant to wind damage, while their deep roots help stabilize soil. Broad beans are well suited to cooler climates compared to many other legumes. This allowed them to spread across Europe and parts of Asia where warmer climate beans struggled to grow. Even today, they remain a key crop in temperate regions. Despite their long history, broad beans faced a decline in popularity with the rise of industrial agriculture and imported crops. In some regions, they were labeled as poor man's food. However, modern interest in traditional diets and plant-based nutrition has renewed appreciation for this ancient legume. One important consideration with broad beans is their connection to a genetic condition known as favism. Individuals with G6PD deficiency can experience adverse reactions when consuming broad beans. This has been known since ancient times and highlights how deeply humans have interacted with this crop across history. In modern kitchens, broad beans are celebrated for their clean flavor and nutritional density. They appear in vegetarian and vegan recipes, high-protein meals, and heritage cuisine revivals. Their minimal processing requirements make them attractive in clean eating and whole food diets. From a sustainability perspective, broad beans align strongly with future food needs. They require fewer resources than animal protein, support soil health, and adapt well to climate variability. As agriculture faces increasing environmental pressure, crops with proven resilience like broad beans regain strategic importance. Broad beans are not trendy. They do not rely on marketing or novelty. Their value is rooted in thousands of years of consistent use. They fed builders, soldiers, farmers, and philosophers. Today, they quietly continue that role, bridging ancient agriculture with modern nutrition. In the story of human food, broad beans are not a footnote. They are a foundation.